Today on HBOT Insider, we're outside the chamber because we're going to talk about breath work. Breathing is the most important part of life because you can go several weeks without food, even several days without water, but you can't go but a few minutes without breathing. Oxygen is such a vital part of our life, it is a nutrient. Nutrients are things that you just cannot live without, or they will cause serious physical and mental harm. Oxygen being the most important of that, because the harm it causes if you don't have it is death, and we don't want that for anybody. So an important part of hyperbarics is breathing. The most important part of breathing is getting that oxygen into the lungs so far down that it makes it to what are known as the alveoli. The alveoli are the little tiny sacs or little balloons at the end of your lungs. If you take shallow breaths, you merely exchange the air from the atmosphere into the giant tubes that feed the lungs. This is called dead space. Exchanging oxygen in the dead space does not allow it to get all the way to the alveoli. The alveoli are where your blood vessels attach and exchange carbon dioxide on its way out for fresh oxygen on the way in. So deep breathing is a vital part of proper respiration, for proper oxygenation, and therefore proper hyperbarics. So one of the things we do here at Integrated Hyperbarics is we work on breath work before, during, and even after a dive. The reason we want to do that is we don't want to waste your time in the chamber by not being efficient. After you breathe, we want to drive that blood, which is super oxygenated, to the areas that need it the most. So if you have physical ailments or injuries, we want to do exercises to drive that blood flow to those areas. And if you have concussions or brain injuries or PTSD, anxiety and stress, we want to do something for the brain to drive that blood flow there, like music or puzzles or meditation. So what we're going to talk about today is proper breath work for deep breathing in order for the oxygen in the atmosphere to make it so far into the lungs, it makes it to the alveoli, and therefore can be exchanged through the bloodstream for the carbon dioxide on its way out. One of the easiest tools to use for that is known as an incentive spirometer. Incentive spirometers are used in the hospital to prevent pneumonia, because people who sit still tend to have the fluids inside their body pool in their lungs to the point that they get pneumonia. Your lungs fill with fluids and you slowly drown, which is terrible. So using an incentive spirometer is here to help your muscles of respiration to learn to be more efficient and breathe deeper. Most of them come with a hose to breathe through. They come with a main chamber, which has markings on it to let you know how many milliliters of air you are breathing in. And it comes with a special little, our guy has a smiley face, driver. That driver is what determines how deep of a breath you're taking, but also to try to control the breath to force the diaphragm muscles of respiration to do the work. See, proper breathing for deep breathing is through the diaphragm, which is a muscle that cuts you in half through your chest and stomach to allow you to use the lungs efficiently. You can also use your ribs to breathe, but that's a secondary breathing muscle. Those muscles are supposed to be there when you're really exerting yourself, like through sports or activities, or being chased by a wolf, if you were in ancient times, so that you can get extra oxygen into the lungs to help you perform. So what we want to do is we want to teach you to take your breath slow and deep by controlling this little green button in the smiley face, not above and not below. And then we're going to set a measure to say, here's your goal, this is what you're shooting for. So what people can do is you breathe in through the tube, not out. So what you want to do is you want to breathe all the air out of your lungs and then follow it with as slow and deep of a respiration as you can take in to slowly fill your lungs while trying to keep that green button in the smiley face. If you don't and you do it too fast, the button will shoot all the way up and the chamber will fill very quickly and very easily, and people go, I'm good, I don't need to practice. What you need to practice is that slower, deeper breath, because that's more efficient in the long run, but it also fills the entire lung rather than pulling up on the ribs. Diaphragmatic breathing is also very good at reducing stress and anxiety because pulling up on the rib muscles to breathe pulls up on all the nerves in the neck, which are closely related to the nerves of the skull, which are closely related to stress and anxiety. That's why we feel like when we're stressed, we have the weight of the world on our shoulders and we want to just let it go. And the answer is, I feel like a weight was lifted from my neck and my shoulders. That's de-stressing. So good breath work will help with anxiety and stress naturally, but it will also provide you with more oxygen so that way the hyperbaric chamber can be more effective. So here we go. If I were to breathe too fast, it would look like this. I easily make it to the top because it's not the right way to breathe. The air exchanged in the dead space. I created a vacuum and sucked the air in, which caused the platform to rise. Not the best way to breathe. I could feel kind of a little necky, stressy anger from doing that. So what we're going to do is a nice slow breath. And we're going to try to keep our little green button in our little smiley face and see how far we can get. So first thing you do is breathe out all the way. And we make it to about 3,000. Now, I used to be a swimmer, and I used to have very big lungs and very good breath work and control, and could easily make it to the 4,000 milliliters, which is 4 liters. So think 2 full soda bottles. However, as I'm getting older and I've not practiced swimming in quite some time on a regular basis like I did when I was swimming many, many years ago, I can make it to 3,000 now, which is still very good. However, if I were to practice, I'd be able to regain that extra 1,000 milliliters and I'd be more efficient at breathing. What more efficient breathing does is it controls heart rate, blood pressure, stress and anxiety, and therefore my body not only has more oxygen at the alveoli to exchange into the blood, but my system is calm. And in a calm system, the parasympathetic nervous system runs everything, and therefore it can control regulation, repair, maintenance of your body. It can control systemic functions like the kidneys, the livers, the bowels, the gut, digestion. All those things are important to control to reduce stress, but also to make the body function properly. Better healing, better breathing. Better breathing, better healing. So they work hand in hand. You can work on the breathing part and leave the healing to the body. It knows what to do. So at Integrated Hyperbarics, if you're not breathing properly, we'll work with you on it and we'll get you better. Therefore, you have more oxygen, even when you're not in the chamber, which will make you healthier for longer.